So Michael Saylor finally responds to Bitcoin Ordinals, the NFTs and memes that exist on top of Bitcoin's network. Now we know Bitcoin's network is congested right now. So what does Ultra Bull Michael Saylor think? What is Ordinals? Ordinals utilizes this new inscription feature that has been upgraded. Well, Bitcoin has been upgraded to support this. So ordinals are basically NFTs and meme coins that are built and residing on Bitcoin. So it has gotten really bad. So now people have started complaining about congestion, unconfirmed transactions, high transaction fees. So sounding a whole lot like 2017 once again. And for the first time since 2017, miners are getting more for transaction fees than they are for actually solving the algorithm and actually getting more Bitcoin, right? So that's what it's come to because there are so many transactions to process right now. And this is absolutely exploding. Here's another chart that kind of shows this. Look at the transaction fee on the right side. Right, has absolutely exploded, even higher than peak of, or close to peak of 2021, but also higher than 2017. So this has a lot of people concerned, very, very concerned, okay? In fact, so concerned that the devs are now talking about, at least some, are talking about removing ordinals altogether, treating it as spam, and since they want to make this as a bug fix, they don't need to wait for a major release. That is what's being talked about right now. Okay, what happened to consensus, right? What happened to votes? But there are some that are so threatened and so angry about ordinals that they actually want to implement like a bug fix and just wipe out all the ordinals and inscriptions and everything else that has come to Bitcoin's network, right? That's absolutely the wrong move. You can't just do that. In fact, more usage, more adoption is better for Bitcoin. Okay, it's really that simple, right? You want more people to come aboard. You want people to get excited about something, especially right now. It's kind of boring, stale, right? New technology, new innovations, new projects being built on top of Bitcoin's network. What better network than Bitcoin's network, right? Bitcoin maxis always try to shame Ethereum and say Ethereum is bad and is evil and is stealing all the money away from Bitcoin. Well, I mean, steal it back, right? But there are so many maxis that's really, really, really angry about this. And you would figure someone like Michael Saylor, the ultra bull Michael Saylor, would think the same way, right? But you know what? Someone sent me this full interview that he had, and I have a clip for you guys. He thinks differently, very differently. In fact, it's not what I expected at all, not one bit. So this one is a shorter, condensed version, right? Let me play this for you guys. And he thinks about this totally different than everyone else.
So I think that what happened with ordinals and NFTs is we crossed this chasm from what was a bearish scenario to a bullish scenario. If I was a miner, I would be ecstatic. I think that long term, there are a lot of implications. Long term, the implication is there's going to be a lot of applications on the Bitcoin base layer. You know, if I can inscribe a piece of art, right, an NFT is kind of an art, but I could also inscribe my last will and testament. And if my last will and testament is moving $1 billion from me to you, how much is it worth to you to have that burned onto the blockchain and cryptographically verified?
Yeah, at least $1 billion for me, Michael.
Would you pay $20?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Would you pay $100?
Of course.
There you go. So there are interesting applications. So I think that what happened with...
There you go. There you go. Saylor is thinking about the bigger picture, right? The whole interview, he actually talks about how he supports anyone to create anything, right? He may not recommend it, but he supports it. But the fact remains, you can expand upon this. NFTs is not just silly pictures. You could do contracts, you could do wills, and he talks about business contracts. He talks about what if you needed to send a contract that's worth $1 billion from one country to another. What better network to put it on than Bitcoin's network, right? So Michael Saylor's actually thinking about the bigger pictures. So he thinks ordinals, inscriptions on top of Bitcoin's network is a good thing. Is a good thing. And that blew my mind. I honestly thought Saylor would be really against this because, you know, he's kind of conservative in his ways with Bitcoin especially, right? But, I mean, think about it. He's going way beyond here. He's talking about putting your will, contracts, right? Trusts on top of Bitcoin's network and utilizing that to pass it on, right? And what better network to store it on? Because you can't hack it, you can't break it, you can't shut it down, right? Genius. So that's what I think also. The more usage you can put on top of Bitcoin's network, the better it is. The better it is. And let's not forget, we still have the Lightning Network, okay? We have the Lightning Network that's still very fast, very low fees, and exchanges and wallets, you know, they have yet to really embrace Lightning Network. But if they do, well, a lot of the fees, the massive fees that people are complaining about, like $20 per transaction, that actually goes away. That goes away, right? So it's really just the beginning. Like I said, ever since this came out, you got to give it some time. We're so early. Things are still being worked out. They're not going to be perfect right away, but Bitcoin's network will get through it. It will. And there's going to be amazing things that happen on top of the network besides just being a decentralized network, right? A secure network, besides being a meeting exchange. You know what? Now it's a smart contract network too. What's not to love about that? And you know what? I want to remind you guys, 1 million addresses, a big milestone. 1 million addresses now hold one full Bitcoin. 1 full Bitcoin. Whole coiners. 1 million people on the planet. Actually, it's not. Because, you know, there's most people in the space have more than one address, right? You know that that's true. So I would say maybe realistically a fourth of this. Maybe even a fifth. So you're talking about what? 200,000 people on the planet that have one Bitcoin. So if you're among them, awesome. But if you're trying to reach that goal, well, keep going. Keep going.